you so much for joining us today. To join in on the Lieutenant Governor's SC Day of Action, my fellow J. Marion Sims interns and I want to share a little bit about the U.S. Census. We're going to talk a little bit about the history, why it's important, and most importantly, how you can complete it.
So who created and started the U.S. Census? The first federal Congress established a special committee to prepare questions to be included within the first census. The 6 inquiries in 1790 called for questions on gender, race, relationship to the head of the household, the name of the head of the household, and the number of slaves if they had any in the household. The U.S. Census is now run by the U.S. Census Bureau, which was founded and made a part of the Department of the Interior in 1902. The official U.S. Census Day is now on April 1st.
So what is the U.S. Census and why is it important? Well, the U.S. Census began on August 2nd, 1790 and is meant to count every living person in the U.S. and all 5 territories. Our founding fathers wanted population to determine power. Census data determines the amount of federal funding we receive, as well as district lines and legislation representation. Participating in the census is required by law. Things like building new factories, revitalizing neighborhoods, school lunches, plans for highways, and consumer advocacy are decided on from census data. SC receives approximately $3,000 per person who was counted in the census.
As you can see here is a message from our South Carolina State Treasurer speaking on the importance of filling out the census as well as the funding that our state can get for our communities in the future.
So how do you complete your 2020 census? You can send it in either by mail, phone, or online, and you do not need your ID number if you don't know it. Keep in mind that the last day for you to turn it in is October 31st, which has been adjusted due to the pandemic. And if you're unsure if you need extra assistance, feel free to contact the NAACP office in Lancaster at this number presented here.
So now that we know the importance of filling out the census, I think we can all agree that it would be awesome if South Carolina was fully represented, especially considering that in 2010 we were about 20% undercounted, which if you take into consideration the $3,000 per person that we missed out on, it's a real bummer. And recently, our response rate is about 56%, but today we're asking for 200 households per county to complete their census. If we can accomplish this, it'll boost us up by about 2%.
So here you're probably wondering, how can you properly identify fraud during this time during the coronavirus? So field surveyors will be phased in throughout South Carolina. This started on June 1st. Census packets may be left at the doorstep if you are a P.O. box owner, and many community organizations are working on ways to assist vulnerable populations safely. But you can always feel free to submit your census by mail, phone, or online. The Census Bureau will never ask for a few of these things below, such as your social security numbers, money or donations, credit card numbers or account numbers, and political party affiliations. If you do suspect fraud through the census and you feel like you are hearing any of these things, please feel free to call the representative on the screen.
Are you worried about your personal information being misused? Don't worry, your U.S. Census information is safe. By law, the information that is generated from the census will not be released for 72 years. The census isn't about citizenship, it's about getting a complete and accurate count of the state's population. You don't have to be a U.S. citizen to complete the 2020 census.
This is a slide about the hashtag CountMeIn South Carolina 2020 Census Campaign. Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evatt, chair of the Governor's Complete Count Commission, worked with University of South Carolina students to create this video promoting census completion. 21 South Carolina influencers, including Darius Rucker, Dabo Sweeney, Dawn Staley, Edwin McCain, Senator Lindsey Graham, and Senator Tim Scott, joined the Lieutenant Governor to explain the impacts and benefits of the 2020 census. A complete count of South Carolina residents will drive funding allocations for schools, healthcare, disaster response, and 50+ federal programs for the next 10 years. To learn more about this video, click the link below.
What is the Census Day of Action or hashtag Count Me In? It is a call to action for individuals, local businesses, and local organizations to promote the completion of the U.S. Census. It starts on Wednesday, June 17, and the purpose is to share ideas and events that will be hosted in communities across South Carolina to help motivate the public to complete their census. The goal is to get 10,000 or more South Carolina households to complete the census. And for a fun fact, due to the results of the 2010 census, South Carolina received nearly $13 million from 55 large federal spending programs.
But South Carolina initiatives don't stop there. One of the most important ones that we have seen is the South Carolina Counts done by the United Way. Another one is from Together South Carolina, which is the Census Response Rate Challenge, which puts many competitions between different counties in order to fill out their census.
And the initiatives do not stop on the state level. They also go down into the community levels as well. Lancaster County has the Complete Count Committee and also the Lancaster NAACP. Chester County has the Complete Count Committee as well.
So you're probably wondering about a few ways on how you can promote the census. So we do have 5 suggestions here. One can be doing social media posts, multiple posts leading up to the South Carolina Day of Action, and 1 or more posts on this site. Please remember to pledge to reach out to 5 of your friends to make sure they have completed the census, as well as businesses or the community. Try to encourage your friends to learn as many interesting facts and how-to guides on how to guide them with the census, staying up to date with national, statewide, and local information, and lastly, explaining how the census can benefit the community in the future is very important.
Here are some templates and examples of how to promote the census. You can include examples of things that the census would help with, like broadband, potholes, education, public transport, etc.
You can also include how to turn in the census, how it determined your state's representation in Congress, or how much money your state received in 2010 by using the link below.
On behalf of my fellow Simterns, thank you, and don't forget that our state needs you.